Today we're working on a 2011 Honda Accord. Just finished doing the front brakes, and then I was kicking myself for not recording it. Now I'm doing the rear brakes, so that's what this video is going to be about. I figured the front brakes, I thought about it, I thought, you know, brakes are kind of mundane, and you know, so then I did the back, and I thought, well, the back might be something more people might get hung up on, because you have to wind back the piston and whatnot. So we're going to shoot the back today. So obviously it starts with removing the tire. I got my new 3/4 impact here. So we got 12mm bolts that hold this on. I'm going to pry the caliper off. Alright. So, funny, in the front and the back, or the left and the right, in both cases it was missing this top spring here. There's a little metal spring that combines or connects the two brake pads together. And that's interesting that both sides are missing the top one. So let's take these off. Oh my god, that is... Look at that. Come on, focus. Look at that. So close to metal on metal. Even up here got a little chip off on the metal. Or to the metal. What's the other one look like? Oh my, this one is wearing, it's a little thicker and it's also a little cockeyed. That tells me things are kind of binding up. So it's good because we have all new hardware. So then to get the, we need to get the bracket off to get the rotor off, because we're also going to replace the rotors. So we have 17mm back here. Let's see if I can, hold on, I'm going to take a hammer to it. And then this top one, can't fit a socket wrench in there, so I'm going to get just a box end wrench, and we're going to hammer on that. Where did I put the hammer? There it is. Get a hammer on that. And now that it's loose, we're going to take our gear wrench, get it out the rest of the way. There it is. Alright, so we're at the bench now with this guy, and this pin has a little bit of resistance, but well, just a second ago it was kind of hard to pull in and out. So let's pull these out. I'm going to hold the top of the boot so it doesn't, I'm going to have to take these off. Just kind of peel that boot off the top. Okay, there's that. I don't normally wear gloves, but I was just outside digging for like a few hours and for a couple days in a row, and my hands are all calloused, so I'm trying to protect them. Alright, so, and I don't wear gloves not for any like, oh, I'm a man reason, but they just get in the way, as you just saw. So we got some brake lube. We're going to lube that up. away the excess. And the same thing for this one. Okay, next we got these guys here that the brake pads sit on, so we'll just pry those off. Put the new ones on. And let's just push them down. They should go on there. There we go. Push it down. Okay, this is ready. So one thing that happened to me on the other side, but not this side, is that there's little washers in here, and on the other side they fell off. See that right there? Kind of goes into each of the bosses. Make sure those are there before you put the bracket back on. Okay, so next, to take this rotor off, it's held on by 2 Phillips head screws. These screws don't really do anything. As you can see now, they're holding the rotor on, but from what I read and understand, these screws are only here for manufacturing purposes, so that the rotor doesn't fall off during the assembly line while the tire's not on. When you put the tire on and it bolts up against this, it holds everything together and you don't need these screws. That's good, because most of the time they're rusty as hell. Now this is the first time these brakes have been serviced, because everything is still factory on it, and most guys don't put these screws back in. So just go straight for the gold. You might try to loosen these if you're, I don't know, a purist, but just go straight to drilling them out. Get yourself the size drill bit as this. It doesn't say, or it's all kind of smeared away, the size. But get a drill bit that's just a little bit smaller than the head of the screw, and we're going to just drill into this until the outside diameter of the head that's not being drilled out kind of comes free. And then we know that screw head is drilled out. And then you don't be going full speed. You don't need to go that quick for this size of a bit and steel. In fact, if you do, you could dull your bit, and then you're in for a hard time. You've got to get a new bit and whatever. But go nice and slow. Start in the middle. I should put the e-brake on so it doesn't move around. But it helps me keep it straight, actually. Just kind of pushing and going slow. Not done yet. Damn it, come on. Alright, look, you see how that outside diameter of the screw head came off? That's how we know we're done. Switch it to the other side, we're going to do the same thing. Okay, again, there's the outside of the screw head. Now it's free, but it's probably stuck on there because it's been on there for 85,000 miles. So we're just gonna, we're replacing the rotor, so don't worry about damaging it with a hard hammer. There's one side. There we go. There it is. Now what's great about this is that the nubs of the screws are nicely left over, and they come right out. See that? So if you're all up in arms about, like, I don't want to, you know, mess up the threads or whatever, and I want to put the screws back in for some crazy reason, know that this drilling method doesn't damage anything. You can use these holes again. Alright, let's put our nice new rotor on. Put it on the right way, even though we're not putting the screws back in. Just in case somebody wants to in the future. Okay, so with this on, we can now put the bracket on. Those two washers are still there. So I'm going to use my non-gear wrench to tighten. Okay. I don't remember if I said this earlier, but I always buy top shelf brake parts. And preferably ones that come with the hardware is the best, although sometimes I don't do that. So we're going to take some anti-seize and put it on these little ears here, and actually that's way too much. Okay. And then try not to get anti-seize on the brake pads like I just did. Okay, there's that, and then we have these little springs. See if I can do it with the gloves on. Come on, I don't feel like taking them off. And these springs face down towards the middle of the pads. Whoops. Well, I guess the top one faces up. So I guess it's better to say they face inwards towards the middle of the pad rather than outwards. Okay. Put those in there. And now, here's the tricky part. So here's the tricky part. We have to wind this back, or we have to push the piston back, but this is one of the ones that need to wind back. So I got this kit that has all different kinds of adapters and stuff to put these back in. And I know you're going to ask, Matt, do I need the kit? Probably not. If you're clever enough, you can make something work. I mean, all you need is something to fit into that cross there, and then a way to turn it. That's really all you need, and this just makes it easy. But it helps a lot to have these things. So you don't need it But if you're not resourceful enough and have the tools to build something that or make this work, then don't just get the, oops, of course it rolls all the way over there. Yeah, so if you can't fabricate something or come up with something, just buy the kit. And I barely use these. I mostly work on old cars, actually. The way I just do it, so you pick one of these adapters that fits, and don't worry about like, which one do I need, and you know, whatever, as long as it fits. And then this thing, I believe, is supposed to back up on it, and it's supposed to catch in between these two, this fork here. But this gap between the fork is too big for this particular kit. So I'm just going to do it by hand without that. To get in there, let me see which way it goes. It should, yeah, you twist it in, just like screwing a screw in. You know, it's not that hard to twist in, so. And I always go slow. Make sure the master cylinder, I always make sure the master cylinder reservoir is open. Damn it, it fell out of the thing. There we go. Push that back. Okay. Here we go. Now this goes over this. We'll screw the caliper on. Sometimes the little guide pins spin in there, and you just gotta hold them. It's a 17 millimeter. There we go. And that should be it. We should just put the wheel back on. We're good to go. So as with all brake jobs, just come inside and pump the pedal until it gets hard. And the reason why you do that is because the pistons from the calipers are still not fully extended, and your first couple brakes on the road will not work. So you got to do that. Now the thing I wanted to mention is that one of the things that led me to the conclusion that this car needed brakes without taking the wheels off is that the fluid in the master cylinder was way down. Okay, now it's tempting to think, oh, I need new master fluid, I need new brake fluid, and just top that off. But what that means is that all the pistons in the calipers have extended far enough that the fluid level has gone down, because the more they extend, the more worn those pads are, because the pads are thinner and they have to extend out further to, you know, be in contact with them. So when you have low brake fluid, don't just top it off. Check your brakes first, because this was like way down there, almost to the minimum, right? And you saw those pads, they're pretty low. Now it's back up where it needs to be. I didn't add anything to it, I just did a brake job, and that's it. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope that helps some of you. Hope that helps somebody out tackling the rear brakes on this kind of a car. So thanks for watching again. See you next time.